Welcome to the That's Good Sports Podcast. Now more masculine than ever. I am a host, Brandon Perna, here with another host, Will Keys, and we talk about football.
This is a podcast for men. This is a men's podcast.
About being as masculine and manly as possible.
Produced by men, listened to by mostly men, and just for men in general. Yeah.
This podcast is so straight and masculine that no women are allowed to even listen to it.
Yeah, no, it's like a treehouse when you're like 7 years old. No girls allowed. For dudes. We're dudes.
Just a bunch of guys having a sleepover, and it is really just it's to showcase our masculinity.
And we're talking about the least gay sport of all time.
Football.
Yep.
We got a lot to talk about today, including just some real deep-cutting insights from former Chiefs running back Larry Johnson, who I thought was just going on a rant about the NFL being effeminate or sports being effeminate. But I think he was responding to former NFL player Ryan Russell coming out as bisexual via a article he wrote, and then ESPN did an interview with Ryan Russell. So we're going to talk about that because I think it's an interesting story. And Larry Johnson's tweets are just so fucking batshit crazy that I couldn't not talk about him. And we'll get into tonight's going to be the last round of preseason games. Cuts are coming. Oh yeah, we'll talk a little more about Carly Lloyd, the female soccer player who might end up kicking in the NFL in 2020, just to really spice things up with the Larry Johnson tweets. And we will get to the Broncos roster bubble players final sort of preseason evaluation. That is the rundown, Will.
Yeah, and you forgot we're going to break down every single week 4 preseason game that's going on tonight. And
we will predict them with deadly accuracy.
Yeah. How many touchdown passes will Cardell Jones have tonight?
3.
Probably not. He's not very good.
Yeah, I said 3. You said 0. We really have different research.
It'll end up being 1.5 exactly.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So Ryan Russell, what was were you surprised at all? Did this shock you? It didn't really shock me. I mean, just going off of statistics, this is bound to happen. We haven't really heard about it since Michael Sam, but
yeah.
No, it's surprising that that was 5 years ago now, and given the way that society is trending towards more openness and acceptance,
to
football, I'm surprised that we haven't heard about this more often.
Yeah, so I think what Ryan Russell did was pretty cool in that he's sort of pitching this in a way where he's just trying to fully acknowledge who he is as a person, which is something I think every person should have the right to do without, fear of prosecution or rejection or whatever it is. So it's not surprising that the thing that's I think interesting is he wants to get back into the NFL. So that's where I guess if you want to say it, the risk is for him, drawing attention to himself because of this, in addition to still wanting, to play. He was drafted by the Cowboys. He played a season there, 2 seasons with Tampa Bay, started 7 games in Tampa Bay, and then was cut last preseason with the Bills. He said he had an injury. So I guess it just seems crazy that this type of thing still has to be a story, and then it still has to be up for everyone's opinion about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's where it would really show that we've come full circle to the point where we can announce this without like a big article and a big news cycle around it.
Yeah. I really just want to talk about Antonio Brown's helmet and feet every week for the rest of my life.
No, like we said, this is a very straight podcast where we talk about men's feet.
Yeah.
break down what they look like and if they're working correctly. But yeah, I'm going to be honest. I had not heard about Ryan Russell until today. I don't think I've paid attention to a team less than the 2017 Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Right.
So the fact that he started any amount of games for them was a surprise to me. But
I think, like, I guess my question is, when is a really good gay football player or gay athlete going to come out and still openly be in the league? Like, I feel like that's what it's going to take for, because right now, Michael Sam wasn't, a great NFL player. Did he even make it through the season there? Ryan Russell, great enough of an athlete to get to the NFL, but do we I'll be.
Come on, Brandon.
I'm waiting for.
Right in front of you.
What's that?
The answer's right in front of you. Come on. You're looking too hard for this one. We had a very prominent player literally make out with his son on camera just a year ago. And you're asking, why can't a really good player come out as gay? I guess because you wouldn't call him a really good player.
I think I want it to be like the most masculine good player in the NFL, to really just like scare people, to scare men. So
yeah, you're saying like if when Gronk was giving that talk the other day about how he only slept for 5 minutes, he's like, I lost the joy in football. I'm sorry. I was like, he's holding back tears at the end of it. He's like, and by the way, I'm gay.
Yeah, Gronk, very masculine. That would rock some people's boats.
That would be a shock.
Who is the most masculine dude in the NFL?
Oh, that's a good question, because I feel like if you go too far masculine, then you're hiding something, and the likelihood that you are gay becomes higher.
Right. Like you could have put James Harrison up in there, but like he's retired, so.
Yeah, that would be a case of being so overly masculine that you've got something to hide. I'll have to think about that one. Ben Roethlisberger would be a surprise, I think, to everyone.
Yeah, for multiple reasons.
I'm just imagining a gay Ben Roethlisberger breaking the huddle in Pittsburgh.
Do you think it's a coincidence that the only two guys who made it to the NFL that have come out are defensive ends?
That's a good question.
Is there a position correlation to sexuality?
Clearly. Well, we had a gay tight end in Washington in the 60s and 70s, Jerry Smith. So if you're going to talk about tight ends, then yeah, that's clearly a correlation.
Interesting.
But I don't know. I mean, they both play at the end of the line. They're both in a 3-point stance. I can't really draw any type of real conclusion there.
Yeah, I mean, I think some more research.
There has to be a gay kicker. That's out of all the kickers that have played in the NFL, there has to be one that's gay.
I don't know. I think that's unfair to gay people.
Well, they've been other positions too. It's just the position of kicker. We've got a woman kicker now.
Yeah, what is a bigger threat to your masculinity, Will? A woman kicker in the NFL or a gay football player? Because we know, based on some of what I've seen on the internet, these are both very big threats to everything that is manly right now.
It's an existential threat to the sport of football. Let's get that very clear. I saw people arguing like, yeah, sure, what if maybe she'll be able to hit a 55-yarder. That's a possibility. But what happens when a kick gets blocked and she has to make the tackle and a 300-pound lineman blocks her to the ground? What happens then? Is like, you realize, she's like, yeah, she's 5'7", 140 pounds. Like, you realize most kickers are 5'7", 140 pounds.
Yeah, the same thing that happens to every kicker.
Yeah. Why do you think this is different? How often do kickers really make a tackle on special teams?
Unless it's your Pat McAfee lighting up fucking Trenton Holiday or.
Well, to be fair, Trenton Holiday Trenton Holiday was 5'1", 120 pounds.
Yeah. He was smaller than Carly Lloyd.
Absolutely, and much smaller. No, Carly Lloyd's like 5'7". That's pretty, that's above average for a woman.
What was
and we're not going to get Brittany Griner out here to kick field goals.
Basically, if you're going to be a kicker who's good at tackling, you've got punter blood in you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We
saw Mitch Wisnowski light up Devonte Jackson.
And Devonte Jackson's like 5'7".
Matt Bosher's laid some hits out before, right?
Yeah.
The Falcons. So
Sebastian Janikowski must have made a tackle at some point.
Yeah, but Janikowski seems like he's got the body to do it, but not the energy like he's going to be like,
Yeah, probably not.
I guarantee you Carly Lloyd could run down somebody quicker than Janikowski could.
Absolutely, yeah. That's
what nobody's talking about. Like, if a kick's blocked, it's not like Carly Lloyd's going to get blindsided or something with a violent hit. But what she might be able to do as a soccer player is chase down. If it's, blocked field goal kick, I think she would be fast enough to chase somebody running with the football down from behind and make a tackle.
Probably not, but
a soccer player who's running all the time couldn't run down.
I really don't think
a defensive lineman who ends up with the ball. Come on.
Okay,
the best way to tackle somebody from behind. Will
fast as fuck today. Montez Sweat just ran like a 4.4.
Yeah, that's kind of the exception. Most of them aren't 4.4.
Okay, yeah, they're like 5. They're like 4.6.
I bet she can run pretty fast. Is my point.
Okay, all right. Agree to agree there.
I'm not saying she's gonna light somebody up. I'm saying chase somebody down.
Yeah, get a shoelace.
She could chase a big boy down.
Really, the problem here is that she took like 8 steps to kick that 55-yarder.
Right, that's the biggest issue. Is you've got 3 steps to kick.
So if she does like use that strategy in the NFL, she's gonna have to run down a lot of block kicks. I mean, they'll probably just tackle the holder before she's like halfway through her motion.
I'm rooting for her to make a team and to be a decent kicker. That would be fun to watch. I
mean, there are so few good kickers nowadays. Like
that's the thing. There's a chance. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, are we ever gonna run out of like good defensive linemen? Absolutely not. Are we gonna run out of like good running backs? No, there's never been a female running back. Like kickers, like they have to draw from other sports at some point. It's like we don't have enough good kickers in the NFL. The Vikings haven't had a good kicker in since like Gary Anderson.
Yeah.
And look at the Jets for some reason cut their Pro Bowl kicker, and now they have no one to kick the football for them.
I saw some teams were making trades for kickers today. Like,
yeah,
there is an actual opportunity there for her. That's what makes it, I don't know, kind of cool. It's not impossible. But what I want to get into now is the
the tweet that you had.
So from former Chiefs running back Larry Johnson, who did talk some shit to me on Twitter. So I followed him.
Did he?
And yeah, it was like in good fun type of thing.
Oh, okay. Just like this tweet.
Yeah, I learned pretty quickly that his Twitter is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And now it is very crazy because I think because of the Ryan Russell news, Larry Johnson just lit off a firestorm of tweets, and I'm just going to read what he said, and we'll kind of discuss as we go into it. So he starts with, "There is an effeminate agenda going on amongst the NBA and NFL elite." I like how it's the NFL and NBA elite. Peddled by high-ranking Mason/handlers to indoctrinate the heterosexual sports world without them knowing for the buying power of the LGBT community. But we're not ready to have that conversation yet.
I mean, you're having the conversation right now. I was going to say that, like, we're not ready to have that conversation in the midst of having a conversation about it.
Right. And it's, to me, the funniest part of just that first tweet is the NFL and NBA elite pushing a socially progressive issue when we've seen in the NFL they have resisted having any sort of connection to anything socially progressive and fought it as hard as they could. But Larry Johnson thinks it's the opposite of what we're seeing. So
No. This is what the owners want. Yeah.
Right. So then he goes on to give examples of how the NBA is already doing this. And he says the Vogue fashion show you now get from the team bus/car to locker room. Most of the outfits you think for 16-year-old boys, not 6'6", 30-plus-year-old men. The softening of play. Everyone's a three-point shooter. Noticeable weight loss to fit the feminine archetype.
All right. Yeah. What isn't the knock on like every player coming out of college in the NBA that they need to like add weight to their frame?
Yeah. I mean,
didn't Giannis put on like 80 pounds to become the player he is?
Put on a lot of weight. They want Bobo to put on a lot of weight.
It's just because like they're like, oh, Zion Williamson might need to lose like 10 pounds. Like, yeah, we're hoping he doesn't become like 40 pounds overweight and look like Sean Kemp, but we're not asking him to become a slender lady boy or anything.
No, it's just it's a weird. I feel like what he said there is you and I coming up with some like far-reaching joke.
That's why I thought you wrote this originally.
No, I was quoting Larry Johnson, not the basketball player Larry Johnson.
No.
Who's that?
No, he would never.
I don't know. I personally like the idea of, guys shooting 3-pointers because they might be gay or want to be effeminate.
Yeah, because the concept of 3 points being greater than 2 points is actually gay.
It's like the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Okay, so
it's not math. It's a homosexuality.
Oh man, it is like
it's actually gay.
It's like an old man get off my lawn argument, just with a weird fucking
with like a twist of like Alex Jones in there.
Yeah, it's coming from a guy who I think probably hit his head too much playing.
Oh yeah, no, Larry Johnson carried the ball like 450 times in 2006. He's absolutely concussed.
Wasn't he the running back that who was their coach? The really nice coach.
Really nice coach.
The guy who always cried. The coach who always cried.
Oh, Dick Vermeil?
Dick Vermeil.
Yeah.
Said something about Larry Johnson's like time to take off the diapers or something.
Yeah, I could see it.
And it really pissed. Anyway, okay. So then NFL, his examples of it becoming, effeminate or what, I don't know what his point is exactly, but Michael Sam's, spelled with an S, was the gauge to see where society was at, planned in parentheses. So was Michael Sam being gay planned, or getting him into the NFL? Was that the part that's planned?
No, they paid him to be gay. They paid the SEC Defensive Player of the Year from 2013 to be gay and to kiss his boyfriend on camera during the draft.
Totally planned.
Scott was his boyfriend.
Yeah.
Not clearly society wasn't ready, so that's why they cut him after the preseason.
Then he references the commercial, two aggressive men having a powder blue / pink cupcake business. Was that like a Microsoft tablet commercial or some shit?
Yeah, I think so. It's the one with Michael Griffin and Brian Arakpo. Right.
So, yeah, they have a bakery cupcake business, definitely effeminate. Here's a great one, though. Feminine behavior over little things like helmets.
I mean, he's got me on this one. Yeah, he might have a point on this.
Antonio Brown throwing a fit over his helmet, effeminate, according to Larry.
He wants a less safe helmet. and that's
very gay,
very effeminate. And
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Same fashion show to locker room using only receivers, quarterbacks, and defensive backs archetype. So he has a problem with players dressing nicely and people paying attention to it.
Basically, this thing is like a way of him saying that Cam Newton's gay.
Pretty much. I would say Cam Newton probably makes him more upset about the NFL than anybody else. And, Cam Newton taking probably more unwarranted headshots than most other quarterbacks in the league, basically playing through half of last season with a shoulder injury that required surgery. Very not tough of Cam.
Yeah. Also, the guy who said that, it was funny to hear females talk about routes.
Oh, right. Yeah, very. I always forget that.
He's a very womanly man.
Even though he just kind of referenced it.
Very in touch with his feminine side.
Right. He dresses funny, though, so you never know.
Yeah.
And then lastly, October is LGBTQ History Month. The NFL players wear pink that month. They want you to.
Do you think Larry Johnson might be gay for knowing the order of those letters?
Ooh, could be.
Is the alphabet gay?
That's a good question.
We'll address that later.
They want you to think breast cancer, but they show you they don't care much about women. Look at the treatment of domestic violence issues.
All right, first of all, we got to say this. Big of a Chiefs running back to bring up domestic violence. And that's where I have to applaud him.
Yeah, he gets that one about half right. The pink is definitely for the breast cancer awareness. Also, the NFL's had a bad history about how much money actually goes to that.
Yeah, they also stopped doing this too.
So, did they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I thought they did it last year.
I think it's optional now.
Or have you seen pink so much, Will?
Oh, man.
You don't even notice it anymore.
It's been burned into my subconscious, I think.
That sounds very effeminate to me.
Oh, no. Jesus Christ.
And that's the end of it.
It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Like, you don't even know that you're gay.
That's his whole point, man. That's his whole point.
They put gay in the water, and you've been drinking it up for years.
Just drink the Kool-Aid, my friend.
Yeah, the pink Kool-Aid.
I didn't really have like a point there because trying to make a point of insanity is, I think that's a losing man's game.
Yeah, you're right. I think if he had tweeted this whole thing out, but then at the end of it, and he had just finished it by saying, but they show you they don't care about women. Look at the treatment of Tyreek Hill. I think if he had just done this whole thing to make a dig at Tyreek Hill, and like he was just not serious about the other like 5 tweets that preceded it, I'd probably be the biggest Larry Johnson fan on the planet at that point. It'd be like a long Dave Chappelle joke. It'd be like the Bill Cosby.
I just watched his special last night, so.
What'd you think? I watched it too.
I thought it was good.
I did too. People are very mad about it.
I think the people who get mad just want to be mad and forget that they're listening to comedy.
Yeah, it's their regularly scheduled anger.
Like, the funny thing, I don't understand how people get so upset about comedians. Going in, they're making jokes about shit. Like, that's the whole point. And you're not going to always agree with every point that a comedian makes. It still doesn't make it not funny.
Yeah. It's not a political debate. It's not.
No, it's just like. It's
not moderated by Anderson Cooper.
I can maybe believe the opposite of what Dave Chappelle is saying about something, but still laugh because the joke was good.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. That is a joke. Another point, like I also like if you're getting mad at Larry Johnson too, like that's like getting mad at like a at like a homeless, like schizophrenic person for yelling at you on the street. It's like, what are you mad about? This guy clearly just can't help it.
Yeah, I don't know. Personally, I want to see the NBA and the NFL be more effeminate.
Yeah, I think 4-pointers now. I think we need 4-pointers.
I think we need 4-pointers, and I think we need more bad behavior about helmets.
I'm surprised he didn't bring up spread offenses and the fact that they're called spread offenses, and they've taken away the running game.
It's I mean, as the NFL tries to be safer, and we all can get like critical about the NFL, but it's because we fear change, right? Like we don't like when things change.
Yeah, we know that the kickoff as a play is inherently dangerous, but we don't, we're so comfortable with games starting with a kickoff that we don't really want to get rid of it.
Right. And like I'm totally guilty of criticizing the NFL when they're trying to do shit safer, because not that I don't want them to be safer about things, but I disagree with like how they're trying to change or implement some of the rules or whatever. But I think like with this Larry Johnson thing, it's just like, if you zoom back as a bigger picture, it's just like everything is going to keep evolving. Every sport, every game.
Yes.
Like the way we look at it and do things. So of course it's going to change. It's going to be different than when even he played last. And it's just funny when people decide they're going to stop buying into the change. And I'm sure it'll happen to me at some point. And I'm just like, nope, anything happening in the NFL after this ain't worth my time anymore. I watched it through its glory days. I hope I don't get to that point until I'm like 60,
Yeah.
But
pretty soon.
It's just weird that people have a place to just say this shit and millions of people can consume it.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And the ironic part is like people reply and retweet it and like quote tweet it and whatever. And you realize you're just giving these insane people an even greater voice and amplifying the stupid stuff
right
that they've tweeted. Like
us just talking about it for 30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
The worst. The worst.
Yeah. I think on that note, we should probably move on to some more masculine points on football.
Right. Which
like the preseason.
Mm-hmm. And it starts with the record the Jags could break for scoring the all-time fewest amount of points in the preseason.
Man, am I not surprised that it's the Jaguars that are going to break this record.
I don't know what the total is. I don't know how many points they can't score tonight, but I am rooting for them to have this record.
Yeah, I guess it's up to Gardner Minshew, who's definitely a part of the effeminate agenda with that mustache. But
that's the funny thing is, no matter everything can be part of it.
It can, yeah.
Like his muscles are too big.
Not scoring points is gay. Scoring too many points is gay. Actually, 24 is the least gay amount of points you can score.
Wow. 24. Where did you get that number?
That's the highest number.
Little
Mr. Show reference for you.
Okay, so real quick, I'm going to give you each team's win total projections.
Okay.
And you just tell me if you're going over or under. Starting with the New England Patriots. Wins, 11.
Push.
Push? Oh,
Yep.
You say exactly. I say they go over by 1, 12. Kansas City Chiefs, win total, 10.5.
Over.
I'll say over 2.
I'll say 11.
Los Angeles Rams, 10.5 wins.
Under. I think they get 10.
Yeah, I think that division could be
tough.
Tough outside the
Also,
Cardinals.
yeah, we don't know how long Todd Gurley's going to be there, how healthy he's going to be.
Yeah.
Defense is older, etc.
Super Bowl hangover team, too. Never know.
Precisely.
New Orleans Saints, 10.5.
Lower.
Lower.
9, because I think Drew Brees really struggled at the end of last season. And I wouldn't be super surprised if it was not like as drastic a fall off as Peyton Manning in 2015, but I wouldn't be surprised if he struggled a little bit.
This is his fall off season. I'm going to go over. I'm going to say 11, but
I'm realizing that like I need to like pick teams to like balance out
your
these win projections.
No, we're not thinking about this.
Sense mathematically.
Doesn't matter.
In the moment.
It's gut feeling on the team. LA Chargers, 10.
Under.
I say under 2.
No Derwin James for most of the season.
Yeah, that was a big blow.
Also, we don't know about Melvin Gordon. I mean, he'll probably be there, but
don't know. They
the running backs don't matter.
Are
Really horny about this Melvin Gordon holdout.
Philadelphia Eagles, 10.
Over. Yeah, I think they're really good. I think they'll probably go to the Super Bowl again.
You think this is going to be Carson Wentz's best season?
I don't know. Like, he was really good in 2017, so I don't know if he's going to do better than that. But I don't know. They have probably the best offensive line in football. Their defense keeps getting better. They added Malik Jackson. You never know. They could trade for Jadeveon Clowney tomorrow. So,
I would rather see Clowney go to the Eagles than the Seahawks.
I agree.
Those are the two teams he wants to go. So, I'm going to say push. I'm going to say right at 10 wins for Philly.
Okay.
Bears, 9.
That's a good question. I'm going to go under. I think they fall back down to earth a little bit. They had a pretty bad offseason, I think. They lost, obviously, Vic Fangio. They lost Adrian Amos, Bryce Callahan.
Yeah.
I think it takes them another year to reload a little bit.
Yeah. I feel like 9 wins is right where they're at.
Yeah, I think it's
I'm going to say under 2. I think they have the potential to be good again. It really is going to depend a lot on Mitch Trubisky and whether or not he gets a little bit better. If he gets a little bit better, I say they're a 10-win team. I just think that division is going to be really tough. I think the Packers might be pretty good. I think the Vikings could be.
That's my thought process, yeah.
And I think the Lions will be the worst team, but they could be the worst team as like a 7-9 team.
Yeah, they got better too. I think most of the teams in that division got better.
Yeah, I think that's a tough division. Cleveland Browns, 9.
Push.
I'm buying in. I'm going 10-win Browns, baby. Double-digit win Browns.
I feel like that's lower than what most people are projecting for them. Their offensive line's still a problem. If you get through their defense, like their defense isn't super impressive outside of Myles Garrett.
Don't care.
And like Denzel Ward.
Okay. Don't care. I want all the sex, and they got it. Green Bay Packers, 9.
Over.
I'll say over, too. Steelers, 9.
Over.
I'm going to say over, too. Call me crazy. I think they might be better without Antonio Brown.
No, they absolutely will, yeah.
Minnesota Vikings, 9.
Okay, wait. Here's a follow-up question for you. More yards this season, Antonio Brown or Juju Smith-Schuster?
Juju.
Yeah, I think so too.
The X factor there really is Derek Carr.
Derek Carr versus Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, but
also they don't have a lot of people to throw to outside of.
Yeah, Juju got a fuck ton of yards with Antonio Brown, and now he'll be the number 1 receiver. So, Vikings, 9.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna go over as well.
Over that tough NFC North. Cowboys, 9.
Feels like they're just a perfect 9-win team. I guess it's hard to say without Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, I go under by a game. I think they're like 8-8. Their defense could make them a winning team.
I'm gonna go under too. It feels like they never make the playoffs 2 years in a row. They kind of in one season, then fall back, and then come back, and then
Yeah, they're supposed to be my enemy too. So I'll say 6-10.
Yeah, 2-14.
Falcons 8.5.
Over.
Yeah, I think the Falcons will be better this year. Over as well.
As long as they don't get permanently injured like last season, I think they're a pretty talented team as always.
Ravens 8.5.
Under. I'm just not a big not far under, but I'm just not a big Lamar Jackson believer at this point.
Yeah, I got to see more from him.
Also, they lost a lot of guys on defense.
C.J. Mosley.
The other guy, yeah.
Did they lose Darius Smith too?
Yeah.
And
someone else that I can't think of.
The safety, the old Eric Weddle.
Yeah, Eric Weddle. Yeah, they replaced Eric Weddle with Earl Thomas. Like, yeah, I know Earl Thomas is good, but
that's right.
The Seahawks, they act like Earl Thomas is like, it immediately makes that defense better than it was last year, even though they lost everyone that was good. I'll remind people that the Seahawks got better after Earl Thomas got injured last season. No, I'm not saying that's because of Earl Thomas. It's just like I don't think he's, that significant.
It's kind of the safety position. You have to be really, really good, like Troy Polamalu, Ed Reed type level good, where you're seriously changing. I feel like I feel that the amount of safeties out there who make a defense a lot better are a small number. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And Thomas might have been that in his prime, but he is
right. Yeah. Especially with Cam Chancellor next to him.
Oh, Cam Chancellor, that dude is a beast, but he retired too because of injuries.
Yep.
Seahawks 8.5.
Over.
I'll go over. Texans 8.5. We're in the 8.5 run. Texans 8.5.
All right, yeah, so this is tough now because they're not playing Andrew Luck twice a year.
Yeah.
They did lose Lamar Miller, although I do think that was a little bit overblown. I don't think Lamar Miller's as good as everyone makes him out to be. I think he's just a high-volume back that –
It's a high-volume, reliable back.
Right, yeah. I'm kind of wondering if they regret getting rid of Deontay Foreman now.
Right.
But they acquired Duke Johnson, which I think he's going to have a really good season away from Cleveland.
Yeah, and I would bet they find somebody on their roster who –
Yeah, I don't think they're going to have any trouble. I think they could probably sign Jay Ajayi before this podcast even comes out. So
that'd be interesting.
I'm going to go – all that being said, I think I'm going to go with 8. 8 wins.
Less. I'm going to go over. I'll take over, mostly because of the Colts. Titans, 8.
God damn it. This one's tough. Because this is a really good team that should have been in the playoffs last year. They were a few Blaine Gabbert starts away from being in the playoffs. And this year, I just still don't believe in Marcus Mariota. And that's the tough part. And I think if they just went full-time with Ryan Tannehill, their ceiling's not very high, but I think he's a little more reliable, and they'd probably just be better overall. But that being said, I'm going to go over. I think they're good.
Okay. I'll agree with you on that. That division's open.
They're well coached, too.
Yeah. Is this Vrabel's second season, right?
Yeah, and he's got that mustache, too.
Yeah. So that's not effeminate. I don't care what you say.
No.
Let's see here. 49ers, 8.
Under. Well under.
I say under, too. They have the potential to be higher, but they haven't had anything go their way for so long that it's hard to see. Jags, 8.
Under.
I'm going to go over.
I think it's going to be 6-10.
I can go 9-7. I believe in Foles.
I don't think he's good enough to transform a team.
Figure it out. Panthers, 8.
Under, because we don't know if Cam's going to be healthy.
Yeah, I say under, too. Did you watch All or Nothing?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it was good. It's not as good as Hard Knocks, but it's still pretty entertaining.
No, but it's got John Hamm's
sweet voice.
Silky voice, yeah.
Yeah, that does help.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Colts 7.5.
Under.
It's hard because they
They're also
were a good team. Like,
yeah. I think
going to be a better team too, but now the luck thing is, even if Jacoby's decent, like, I don't know, man.
and I think people are giving that offensive line probably a little too much credit because Andrew Luck makes offensive lines look a lot better than they are.
Yeah, no, as any good quarterback does.
Yeah, they're definitely improved from the last time Jacoby Brissett started a season, but not enough to make that big of a difference. I think they're a little bit under.
What's tougher, saying Jacoby Brissett's last name or spelling Garoppolo's last name?
I recently figured out how to spell Garoppolo.
Did you?
Yeah.
It's that O.
I spell it correctly every time.
It's just after you get that first A out of the way, it's all O's.
Pretty much. Oh, yeah, it's not that. No, it's never that gets me. It's is it 2 R's or is it 2 P's?
It's 2 P's.
Yeah.
I always thought Garop. Well, I guess Garap. I guess I spelled it Garoppolo.
Grappollo.
Brissett. I always want to say Brissett. Jacoby Brissett.
No, Brissett has always worked for me. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
You're smarter than me.
It's French. You're not cultured.
Jets 7.5 wins.
Over.
Ooh, yeah, you're high on Darnold.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be good.
Give me under. I say they feel like a 7-win team.
Okay.
Broncos 7.
Over.
Yeah, baby.
Just a little bit over.
Of course, I'm gonna agree with you with that. Go over. Bills 7 wins.
Oh, just kidding. They're gonna go 2-14. The Broncos. Yeah. That's it. Cue Adam Rank jumping in to the
He can
podcast.
take over anytime he wants. He has that power.
Open invite.
Bills 7 wins.
Under. I wish. I want to put them over, but I can't.
I'll say over. They can win 8. Lions 6.5.
Over 7, like you said.
7. We'll go over. Bucks 6.5.
Under.
We're about to find out how good of a coach Bruce Arians is.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of those things where, like, a really good coach probably should have just stayed retired.
I'll give them – yeah, I'll say under 2. Well, yeah, under. Washington 6.
Under.
I'll go under as well. Bengals 6.
Over.
I'll say under. I've been pretty high on the rest of the AFC North, so somebody's got to shit the bed. Giants 6.
This is tough. I'm going to say push.
Over, but just by like a game. Raiders 6.
Yeah, under.
It feels like a push to me. Feels like they're exactly 6 wins. Cardinals 5.
This team really does suck. They really do still suck. Yeah. This might be one of the worst defenses we've seen in a long time. Not just because it's coached by Vance Joseph, but also because there's just not a lot of talent there. They spent all their draft picks this year on wide receivers and not on the defense.
Smart.
Patrick Peterson's suspended for the first 6 games, I think. Yeah, I'm going to go – I feel like I've done a lot of unders recently, but I just don't like this team. Under.
I'm going to go under with you, which leaves us with the Dolphins at 4.5. And I'm going to say the Dolphins will win more games than the Cardinals, which will be okay because I don't think the Cardinals take a quarterback 3 years in a row in the first round.
Yeah, you just wait until we're announcing Tua Tagovailoa, and next year's preseason, and Kyler Murray's playing for, I don't know, the Texans or something. The Cowboys. Yeah, he'll be playing for the Cowboys, and Dak Prescott will sign a $45 million a year contract with the Colts.
I say Murray would be playing with the Raiders.
Ooh. Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, Cardinals' offensive line was atrocious last year. I don't think it's a lot better.
Defensive line's horrific.
That's hard for a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, even as like slippery as he is, he needs a good pocket to like see the field.
Right.
Because he's short.
Okay. So those are locked in predictions.
Yep.
Let's just jump into the Broncos bubble players.
Yep.
The roster. Because we're at the point in preseason where we've kind of seen enough. Well, we've seen too much as Broncos fans because they've already played 4 fucking games. I'll start by saying right now, guys who are injured, Jake Butt, Todd Davis, Drew Lock, Jano, Joe Jones, linebacker, Theo Riddick. Now, some of those guys could end up on IR with designation to return or be released. PUP, the physically unable to perform, is not an option because once you practice in the preseason, you can't go on that list. So out of those guys, I think Todd Davis, obviously he's not getting cut and they're not going to put him on IR for the full season, but he's not ready to go. That's a little bit concerning. Drew Lock's fine. I don't care how they manage that. He's not going anywhere. Janovich is interesting because there's another fullback on the team.
Yeah, we have to realize that he heals at like 3 times the rate of a normal humanoid creature.
If Andrew Luck had Jano's blood, he would never retire.
He wouldn't have missed a game even after the laceration of his spleen. It shows you how serious this injury must be to like a normal person.
They would have like told him that his spleen lacerated, but that it had already healed by the end of the game.
Mm-hmm. It regenerated.
So I guess my question to you is...
Yeah, my bad. He probably would have just removed it himself.
Give me a new one.
Yeah.
You don't need it. Fine.
He punched through his body and pulled out the kidney.
What's you have 2 kidneys.
Yeah.
But he lacerated his kidney, not his spleen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I don't know why I was thinking spleen.
I think that's what I said.
Wasn't Chris Sims, didn't his spleen like rupture or something?
Yeah, something like that. He almost died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess my question to you is, what do you do with Jake Butt and Theo Riddick?
Man. I really want to see Jake Butt play. And although I think he'll probably be one of those IR return guys, because you get 2 of those in a season. So I think they're going to use one on him just because they're not going to rush him back, which I think is smart, although I think people are getting a little impatient for some reason. And, like, people are mad at him being like, cut bait already or just retire. A lot of people, like, the worst thing about this Andrew Luck thing is now people, whenever someone like has a serious injury or like an injury that like has flared up multiple times, people are like, all right, well, it's time for this guy to retire. Like, this is the best thing for them to do. Like, what's best for an NFL football player who's worked his whole life to be here. It's like, okay, well, yeah, he's been hurt for 2 years. It's time to retire. Like, how about, first of all, shut the fuck up. Second of all, the team's going to make that decision. And third of all, I would probably want to keep playing football if my occupation was NFL football player, regardless of injury, because it's a really good way to make money.
I would want to make so much money, be completely healthy, and then retire for no reason at all. No. I would want to play 4 years for the Broncos as the best quarterback in the league, win them 4 Super Bowls, leave, sign a massive contract with the Patriots, play good for the first 2 weeks, then throw 6 games in a row, get benched, and then retire, all as part of my plan.
I think this is what Demaryius Thomas is trying to do currently.
He better be. I saw him chatting it up with Brady on the sidelines in one of the preseason.
Like that.
I did not like it at all.
Did not like that one bit.
I hate how like I have to try to explain that I am rooting for Demaryius Thomas after like making any joke about him being a Patriot. It's like because Broncos fans, I feel, are very loyal.
Yeah.
And
they also hate the Patriots.
And they will confuse me shitting on the Patriots with shitting on DT and not, wishing him the best or something.
Yeah, no, you can never blame the guy because like he wasn't getting very many offers. It's not like I know he couldn't come. He wasn't coming back to the Broncos. I understand that. Yeah.
The over-explainers.
At this point, is it worse to go to the Chiefs than the Patriots?
I'd say they're both as bad.
Well, this is a big controversy for you last season in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, because I wanted the Chiefs to beat the Patriots.
Yeah.
God forbid. Honestly, I think the teams I dislike the most are Patriots, Raiders, then Chiefs. Even though the Chiefs are a bigger threat every year, Raiders fans are shittier to me, so that's helped.
No, I have to disagree with you on that one. Raiders fans are definitely stupid.
To me, towards me.
Okay, all right, yeah. I go to Raiders games though.
Well, okay.
And I'm significantly closer. Although I guess Chiefs.
So you hate them less because you know some of them?
No, they're just not as malicious as Chiefs fans. They're not as like violent as the media would make them out to be.
Interesting.
Chiefs fans are actual dickheads. And I know you grew up in Kansas for a while, so you're definitely familiar with them.
That's when I hated the Chiefs the most.
Exactly.
When I was surrounded by their fans every day.
Although I don't know if I've ever hated fans more than like the 2006 through 2009 San Diego Chargers.
Oh, I lived in San Diego during those years, and the Chargers were the team I hated the most.
Those fans fucking sucked.
Oh, well, the thing about Chargers fans was like, and I met a lot of cool Chargers fans. One of my really good friends is still a Chargers fan, a loyal Chargers fan. My grandpa lived in San Diego. He liked the Chargers, but you get this crazy like beach bro dude.
Yeah.
These beach bros coming out of the works. Not the cool beach bros.
Nope.
The fake beach bros who
don't
take the time to actually go to a Chargers game. That's why they're not in San Diego anymore. But yeah, I watched a lot of games at the bars, and it could get very obnoxious there.
That was also when they were beating us like 45-3 every time.
Yeah, we got rid of Cutler, and then it still was. That's when they're good. It's basically whoever's the best in the AFC West that's not the Broncos is going to be the team you probably hate the most because they're the biggest threat to the team.
It's basically like I was thinking about this. Like, people always like feel bad for Phillip Rivers for like all the stuff he has to put up with or whatever. All this like bullshit narrative about how he never has any help. And they like neglect to bring up that like his first 3 seasons he had his 3 running backs were LaDainian Tomlinson, Michael Turner, and Darren Sproles. The fullback was Lorenzo Neal, who's probably like a top 5 fullback ever. His tight end was Antonio Gates. He had Vincent Jackson on one side. Like, this guy got plenty of help.
Yeah, I think
He still does. His team's still loaded.
he's always had decent. I feel like they've always had decent team around him.
Absolutely, yeah. And he has. I can't think of a quarterback that has excuses made for him more often.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. I think the problem is like what Rivers is in terms of in the media is likable, so he's going to be forgiven. But he, as terms of like a clutch quarterback,
he's not clutch.
A lot of mistakes in the fourth quarter,
and it always gets brushed aside. Like I can't tell you how many times he's driven down for like the game tying or winning score and thrown
a pick
or a pick six. Yeah.
Yeah. No. That's definitely true.
That is his MO, and that's his legacy as far as I'm concerned. And people always, they bring up like he tore his ACL in the AFC Championship game and only lost by a few points. Well, yeah. What does Phillip Rivers need an ACL for in the first place? That man has never cut or run on a football field once in his life.
That's true. He doesn't need one.
He drops back and he throws that football like an idiot.
Never forget, John Elway played his whole career without it.
Yeah, what's so impressive? What's so impressive?
Here's the better question. Can you be a clutch quarterback and not swear?
I don't think you can.
I mean, Tim Tebow was, but he was not a quarterback until he was clutch.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't really a quarterback for the majority of his career, technically speaking. He's probably played more games as a punt protector.
Right. Okay, we got off track.
A little bit, yeah.
Kevin Hogan, Brett Rippon playing tonight. Who do you think makes the team?
Well, the thing is,
both.
Brett Rippon had a really weird undrafted contract where he was guaranteed a spot on the practice squad. So they're not cutting him. He's at least on the practice squad.
But does he not have to go through to waivers?
I think he still has to go through waivers. But they can't I don't.
So another team could pick him up though.
Release him.
I don't know how it works.
I'm not entirely sure, but at the very least, he's going to end up on the practice squad.
Yeah, if you want to know what could happen, listen to some other podcasts.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I think Kevin Hogan has to play a really good game for the Broncos to keep.
I think they're probably trying to work out a trade for another quarterback.
Yeah, we learned that they were interested in Nick Mullins or C.J. Beathard, basically whoever the Niners would give up. The Colts.
Also, if you're the 49ers, why would you not get rid of C.J. Beathard?
Yeah, I would trade him.
Why do you need all those guys?
Right now, they could probably trade him to Indy and get something.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, if you're the Colts and you've looked at Osweiler, Castle, and Whedon this week, I would go with C.J. Beathard over those guys right now.
I'd go with Chad Kelly over all those guys right now.
Well, yeah, I would keep Kelly as my number 2 and have one of those guys as your third depth dude.
You think Chad Kelly starts a game this season?
I hope so.
I do too.
There's probably not a player I want to see start actual games more than him.
Although I think he's still suspended for the first 2 games of the season.
Perfect.
It's stupid because he already got cut. He already got cut for what he did, which is okay. Let's just point. Chad Kelly got 2 games for dropping by unannounced, while Tyreek Hill has still yet to
nothing
any type of suspension.
Yeah, but
nothing wrong in the eyes of the NFL, and yet Chad Kelly is some monster burglar home invader. He was the real victim in that case. First of all, he was assaulted with a vacuum cleaner. Maybe he had a couple of drinks and he was trying to find his way home. And whoever's home that he was probably lured into was not very neighborly and beat him over the head with a vacuum cleaner.
Don't forget he was dressed as Sheriff Woody from Toy Story. Very effeminate.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Larry Johnson chimes in, didn't like his Halloween costume. Too effeminate.
Woody, what is that? What's that supposed to mean?
Oh, somebody should respond with Brock Osweiler dressed up as a ballerina from the Broncos Halloween party and just post that to Larry Johnson's Twitter responses.
Yeah, Larry Johnson's going to lose his fucking mind.
So we answered your question there. We both think it's Brett Rippon.
Yep.
Let's see here. Right now, Troy Fumagalli is the only healthy tight end.
Yeah. He's going to play a lot of snaps tonight.
Hireman.
Oh, can we just run a no tight end offense against the Cardinals?
Have to.
Yeah, like what's the upside here?
Broncos lost 2 tight ends to IR already. Jake Butt's a question mark.
Yeah.
So Fumagalli, Fant, and Hireman. Fant has a sprained ankle, which he'll be fine for the regular season. It's a slight sprain. And Hireman has some shoulder issue or some shit? Is he playing tonight? Fumagalli's going to play 100 snaps.
No, yeah, and that's why they should just not have a tight end in the offense.
Yeah, they need to basically get one of their tackles extra work.
Yeah, no.
Play tight end.
Tell a tight end tell one of the tackles to slim down a little bit. Give him number 85 or whatever.
Should they call Antonio Gates?
I think most tackles on the Broncos are faster than Antonio Gates right now.
Doesn't matter. He knows the soft spots in the defense.
Oh, does he know the soft spots?
Antonio Gates knows the soft spots, buddy.
Yeah, very effeminate.
Running backs. You think they keep Booker?
No.
You think they're going to go with one of the young guys and then wait for Theo Riddick to get back, or are they just going to leave the spot open for Riddick?
I feel like it would be kind of a dickhead move to keep Booker until Theo Riddick's healthy.
And then
just to cut him after 2 games. I think they value their relationships with players, as they showed when they cut Dakota Watson and Zach Kerr a week early so they can find ways to play. And granted, Nick Williams' release, who just signed with the 49ers. Oh,
did he?
Yeah. Yeah, he went straight to the 49ers.
They saw him drop enough punts and were like, yeah.
Yeah, so this is a guy we need.
I think the running back position, I'm just intrigued at what they're going to do because
I think
decisions to make there.
Khalfani Muhammad's been okay. He had a bad game, but he also was the only guy that showed up in the Hall of Fame game.
Had a spin move in the last one.
Had a nice move against the Rams. He's been in the system for a little while. Or he's been on the team for a little while at least. Not in the system necessarily.
Yeah, I think out of Jackson, Muhammad, and David Williams, the guy that shows that he can catch passes reliably might be the guy they go with. I feel like they want it to be.
That guy might be David Williams, to be honest.
He's, I think, probably showed that the most this preseason. It feels like the guy that they like the most is Jackson.
Yeah, they have used him a lot.
They go to him early in the preseason, so I don't know what they're going to do there.
Too, yeah. Although Booker can return kicks. I mean, not very well, but he does.
So that I don't know what they're going to do there. Maybe we'll see. That will become clear.
Who the hell is going to return punts on this team, by the way?
Don't know. I think Cracraft is the leader.
Yeah. I guess that's pretty sad.
Because it's between Cracraft and what? Is it Kelvin McKnight? Is that the other guy that's been doing it?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want Emmanuel Sanders back there anymore, although he's probably the best on the team.
Yeah. I mean, you've got Sanders, Sutton, Patrick, and Hamilton. They're all locks to make receiver. Then you
guess Hamilton could.
What's that?
I guess Hamilton could return punts.
Yeah, maybe.
Or he's got pretty good hands. I don't know. We should just re-sign Jim Leonard.
I don't remember him.
You remember that? He was the safety, the white safety who returned punts in 2012.
Oh, that's right. The slow guy.
Yeah. Yeah, but he never dropped the kick.
I remember that now.
It's this is exactly what we need. Just don't fuck up and let Peyton Manning run down the field.
Since I forgot that, can we start saying I've forgotten more football than most people will ever know?
Probably.
Cool.
I think Jim Leonard's the defensive coordinator for Wisconsin now, but I think he can be He can be
coerced
out of retirement.
Yeah, I think I believe Cracraft and McKnight will be the guys returning punts tonight. So one of them should make the roster. Then you've got Winfrey, Langley, Trinity Benson, Fred Brown. I think they want Winfrey to make the team. So
I think he'll make the team.
He's willing to play special teams. So
they should all
be Winfrey and Cracraft if they're 6. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Trinity Benson goes to the practice squad.
Yeah, they've been high on him.
I don't know if Langley's eligible for the practice squad anymore.
Yeah, he might just be
a cut.
On. And then linebackers, the other interesting spot to me. Well, Sue Cravens on the roster bubble.
He'll make it.
I think last week
might be the odd man out.
Who?
Devonte Thomas. I think he might be the odd man out
at the safety position. Yeah,
there's just a lot of depth there.
There's a lot of safeties, but last week, did you see when Sue Cravens ran into Devontae Bosby in the preseason game?
Absolutely not.
Bosby was like running in coverage, and the guy had a step on him, but Cravens was running over there for help and just ran into Bosby. The Rams player was making an easy catch after that. So I saw that Cravens indicated he's on the roster bubble. So safety position.
I guess we'll see, yeah.
And then it's just inside linebacker because Todd Davis is hurt. Joe Jones is hurt. And Joe Jones was really good on special teams last year.
He was, yeah.
So it'd be nice to get him back. I just don't know when those guys come back. So
Josie Jewell, really.
Josie Jewell's got one spot, and then you're trying to figure out A.J. Johnson, Keyshawn Beria, Josh Watson, or Jamal Carter converting over to linebacker. I think those are all the areas that the Broncos have really tough decisions to make, and tight end could have been one of those spots, but they really just have to keep whoever's can play.
Yeah, I think if you can walk and you're a tight end, you're making the team.
You're on. You made it.
Yeah, if you're fully ambulatory.
No injuries to report?
Yeah, and you've caught a pass in your life.
Take a jersey, son. You've made the team.
There you go, number 87.
Anything I missed?
No, what's your pick for tonight? Who's your pick?
For winning?
Yeah.
Oh, I think the Broncos win in a Vance Joseph revenge game.
Awesome. It's really a tradition unlike any other, the Week 4 preseason game against the Arizona Cardinals.
So good.
I love it. I especially love it when it's in Arizona for some reason, just because it looks so stupid.
Is this one in Arizona?
No, this one's in Denver.
Yeah, they've only played. Dude, preseason Cardinals games are maybe like the saddest exhibition of what.
They're super sad because it's at night, which is like when you usually have a preseason game, and you got all the lights in the dome turned on, and no one's really there, and you get the Cardinals announcing team, which is just absolutely horrific. And I love it. It reminds me that football is only a few days away.
Yeah, we are so close. September, 8 and 9? No, wait, what's the Thursday? Fuck, I always forget about that first Thursday game.
I'm gonna say
5th, September 5th.
Yeah, that's right.
And then 8 and 9.
Yep.
All right, well, we made it through another podcast. Appreciate everybody listening. I hope all of you take a chance to reevaluate your masculinity.
Think about it.
Just get in the weight room.
Or lack thereof. Yeah.
Start lifting some iron and try to show the world how much of a man you are by doing guy tough stuff.
Yeah, and we're gonna go to once a week now that it's football season.
Yeah, we should be back on once a week.
Yeah, unless something horrific happens to any of us. So.
Yeah. I could die.
So could I. Yeah, we'll just leave it with that.
Stay tuned next week to see if we're alive.